Hey, we got 7 viewers. Perfect. Welcome to the show tonight, everybody. This is Joey Blaze live from his personal office here in Boonesboro, Maryland, back home finally after spending the last 5 days down in Davenport, Florida. No, it's a silent show only to start, mostly because I have to have a cold opening. Cold openings just are better than music because music gets copyright notices and nobody wants a copyright notice. But anyways, I'm live from here in Boonesboro tonight. Joey Blaze, welcome to the show, everybody. Tonight's first guest is a man who, for the first time, became a national champion the other day in his long, storied career. I am talking about Mr. Greg Proctor of the Scorpions. See if we can get a hold of him. Hello, Greg.
It was good. It was good.
Nothing much, sir. It's a beautiful morning. It's a beautiful day, I should say. I'm sorry. I'm really out of this time of the night. You know how it gets.
Yeah.
Been a long one. I think we both actually finally flew out of Florida this morning, actually, now that I think about it.
Yeah, I definitely had that 6 o'clock flight.
Yeah, that's a rough one. Yeah. But anyways, Greg, welcome to the show. Glad to have you on. So finally, you did it.
Yeah.
How many years did it take to get to this day?
Over 10.
Over 10?
Stop counting after 10, yeah.
I don't blame you, sir. I don't blame you. But finally, here you are. You are a world champion in the comp bracket.
Yeah.
Take us through the journey, Greg. How you got to where you were in this tournament.
Oh man, it started with with the whole draw of where we, when they went Thursday. And I was telling my guys who went down there to see exactly what bracket we could get into. I was like, no team down there really wanted to play us. That's the way I felt.
Yeah.
Like they're not going to, volunteer us, in the bracket. And then I just started looking at it as a whole. I was just like, you know what? Doesn't matter who you put in front of us. We got to go and play whoever and do what we have to do. So I just had a different focus this year.
And you guys, and you came out incredibly focused in the first game. I believe you blew out Riot Squad 20-0, if I recall correctly.
Yeah, because they beat us the year before. Like, I considered that an upset. We had issues the game before. Some things went down, and then I don't think we had a lot of focus on that game that could have brought us at least to the semis. So we definitely had payback in mind.
And you got
we definitely wanted them.
Oh yeah, and you got payback indeed with that victory, as well as scoring a win. Was that a tight game? I believe you had against Long Island Demons.
Yeah.
I was able to catch a lot of your all scores. That's the one thing I was able to get was your all scores. The good results from your all's game. That was a tight one, if I recall correctly.
Yeah. That was the first time, or at least first time I recall playing them. I've seen them out there on the circuit, but the first time actually playing against them, they really didn't have their starting QB out there. But I'm not sure if that would have made too much of a difference. That's the way our defense was playing the entire weekend. So.
Right. And of course, Saturday you finished it up by defeating the Renegades, securing the number 2 seed. Tell us about Sunday, the long gauntlet from start to finish.
The Renegade? You said what? Say that. Break that down for me one more time.
I said after that you proceeded to take down the Renegades on Saturday morning.
Yeah.
How did it feel to be able to take down a local rival in the biggest stage?
Oh, it felt good. Obviously, it felt good. I actually had a little something in the back of my head. One of my closest guys on their team, just got wind that, they said, all right, we'll play those guys. So that added a little extra motivation because we were trying not to play our own team. But again, we had to play somebody Saturday. So it was a damn good game,
I believe
as always.
I believe that was also the third straight championship game in a row that you guys have faced off in.
Yeah.
In the last 2 months, you've gotten the Renegades on 3 different occasions. Twice in a championship scenario, once in this tournament on pool play. Gotta say, you might have their number.
Tough,
they are a tough team.
They're a tough team, and just they were light, but they fought their asses off, man. They were light, but they fought their asses off. They balled out. They balled out the entire weekend.
As did you guys, as you posted a record of 7-0 this weekend.
Yeah.
What was the most difficult part about that 4-game stretch on Sunday?
The difficult stretch was playing all 4 games with a banged knee. Man, I'm old, man. Like, it's a lot of wear and tear on my body. Even though I'm just throwing the ball, but man, it takes a lot of focus, a lot of perseverance out there just to get it done. But again, I can't say enough about my defense. 7 games, only giving up 26 points.
In my head, I'm doing the math right now. That is an average of less than 4 points per game.
Correct. So all that had to do is really just put up 1 touchdown.
That is impressive. So last night, you announced on Jaya's show that you will be retiring next year.
Yeah, definitely leaning heavily towards that. Yeah, the final farewell tour.
Is it for real this time?
Yeah. I mean, I definitely have what I wanted.
Yeah.
I definitely have what I wanted, And you know what, though, for the other people out there that's looking and watching, man, as far as like, hey, man, yeah, that's it. You got a B championship. No one knocks Floyd Mayweather for having all his championship belts because he's not a heavyweight. They just get in where they fit in, man. That's what they get. I'm old. So right now, I'm very happy with this B. Now, I've competed in A, came up, like I said, I'm probably one of the best runner-ups in the business. So, yeah, I'm happy. But this year, we'll find out we'll see how I fare in the A again.
So, is that confirmed? Scorpion's going to try to play A for your final year?
Sure, why not?
Starting in what tournament?
Don't know yet.
Because
that remains to be seen.
I believe there was a post the other day Mike G put on the 9-Man football page asking you guys about Atlantic City and playing A.
Man, it's cold, man. I don't know about Atlantic City. It's real cold. We tried that a couple years back, and man, it's brutal. The further you go up north, man, the colder it gets, especially around that time.
Oh, it's true. I believe it. I absolutely believe it. I heard a couple of guys from AFN telling me the same thing last year when they were coming back from Atlantic City. It was a cold tournament.
Yeah.
I would definitely like it, though, if you guys did have an opportunity to face off against second gen in the A bracket this year. It'd be a nice little champion versus champion to match up.
Yeah, I've seen those cats, man, belly balling over there, man. He did his thing the entire weekend, man. And for all the stuff that he went through, man, much respect, much props to that man for doing what he just did. Shook up the world.
Yeah, absolutely shocked the world this weekend. And you, Greg, finally a champion, a world champion at that.
Yeah, world champion. I've always been a champion.
That's what I meant to say. I meant to emphasize the world champion. How many is this? How many is this now for you?
Oh man, I've won all the major tournaments. So in my eyes, as far as like Ocean City, because it's local, I've won both A and B in that one. See Virginia Beach, Hagerstown, now Charm City, or Capital Classic, and nationals. So, and along with a couple others. But
So the retirement tour will begin officially in Ocean City?
You'll definitely see me in Ocean City.
Okay.
Definitely see me in Ocean City.
And we definitely look forward to seeing you this next year ahead. It's going to be a pretty big year for Greg Proctor. I look forward to following the final year of your career, sir.
Appreciate it. Hopefully I go out on top again, man.
Let's see if you can go wire to wire. Could you become the second team?
Nice.
So would that be a case where you guys would try to play pro next year in that Worlds, or would you be still shooting for comp?
No. I think I would, me personally. I mean, again, it's a team effort and a team decision. I definitely would want to play. Now, whether or not what we do is going to be a different story. So that remains to be seen. That story hasn't been written yet, so we'll find out.
And we shall see indeed, Greg, if you guys do end up playing in the A bracket. I'd like to see you guys back in there. Wishing you the best of luck over the next year. Take off this offseason, man. Enjoy the time off.
So I plan on it.
You definitely deserve it. Can we see that MVP award back there?
Oh, yeah. You know what? I can put it front and center for you. Up there next to my highest award, just let people know. Old man can still do it. Get out when I have to.
You're not that old, man. What are you? 45, 46?
Yeah, playing football, man.
Oh, that ain't bad. Come on. You move around like you're still in your 20s, though. I still see it.
Yeah, man, I appreciate that.
You ball out. I hope to be in as good a shape as you're at your age.
I appreciate that, man. Definitely appreciate that.
Heck yeah, brother. Any special shout-outs or anything you want to give out to anybody on your team tonight for what happened over the weekend?
Man, just shout out to my O-line for keeping me upright and doing our thing. Shout out to my defense for shutting things down. And last but definitely not least, shout out to the entire offense for doing what we had to do to bring home this national chip.
All right, man.
Yeah.
I like it. I love it. Always a class act, Greg Proctor. You do a hell of a job.
Thank you, sir.
Look forward to definitely seeing this retirement tour coming up.
Yes.
Hey, hopefully, perhaps my team and your team will cross paths in the circuit.
Yeah, we'll be more than happy to beat up on your team.
It'd be an honor to just say that I managed to go against Greg Proctor at one point in my flag career. Regardless of what the result would be, it's an honor.
I appreciate that.
All right, Greg.
All right, man. Have a blessed one, man.
You too. Thank you for joining us once again.
Yes, sir.
All right. Peace. Greg Proctor joining us as I try to get as I talk about the Scorpions real quick. Well, I show a picture of the background. What a great run by the Scorpions this past weekend. As mentioned by Greg Proctor, they surrendered less than 4 points per game. That is absolute dominance for the comp bracket. That is absolute dominance by the Scorpions. They went out there, they came, they saw, they conquered. They only gave up, as I said, less than 4 points per game. Proctor was on fire all weekend. They finished number 2 on pool play, but finished number 1 at the end of the day. So the Scorpions, your comp bracket champion. Congratulations to them once again. As I try to get a hold of my next guest, see if I can reach Alphonse real quick. Contacted him earlier. See if I can get a hold of him right now. It says contacting with Facebook Messenger. It tends to be kind of weird. Hold on, let me X out of this and call again. Can't quite get a hold of Alphonse Perrone. There's something going on with Facebook with that regard. It says contacting, but it's not connecting or ringing. Don't know what's going on there. Let me try for a third time. Nah, maybe he can call me. Let's see, send a message just in case. If not, we can get on to. I can try to jump to something else real quick. Talk about comp bracket some more. Yeah, it's a no-go on my end. I don't know what's going on there. Okay, let me go back to the background picture real quick. As we talk about I want to talk about the comp bracket real quick. Yeah, I don't know what's going on, Mike. I think it's something going on with Facebook because it's like it contacts him, but it doesn't ring at all. Let me hit it for a fourth time. If not, then I can figure out something. Yeah, it's not going on. All right, let me see what I can. Let me talk about the comp bracket a little bit more. Excellent competition this weekend on the comp bracket. 28 teams entered. Shout out to several to the teams who got as far as they did, the Final Four of that tournament. MTB Wolfpack, Nomads, who had an excellent game. That game was an absolute classic between the Wolfpack and the Nomads. Nomads led that game at one point 13-0, I believe, before the Wolfpack rallied back in the second half to win it by a count of 15-13. Excellent come from behind victory by the Wolfpack, who they were interested. They were one of the few teams I liked watching this weekend. I caught several of their games. They came up short ultimately against the Scorpions, but they had some thrillers along the way, especially against AFN and Combined Forces on Sunday. Another shout out I should give out to the St. Louis sports media guys. They brought with them Real Deal Sports in St. Louis. They do excellent live streams, and their fans are 100% committed all the way. If you haven't followed them yet, they're on Facebook. You can join their group, Real Deal Sports. It's worth checking into. They do live streams. They have their own league out there in St. Louis. They had several teams out there this weekend. Their live streamers do a great job. We're going to have some of their videos out there soon. So look out for that. Look out for that, as well as other games we're going to put out there. I'm going to trim down every single game that was shot in this tournament this weekend to just the plays. So that way, trying to get one, Mike, but I can't quite get a hold of Alphonse for some reason. I'm not sure what's going on. He's responding. He says he's ready. Let's try it again. Oh, close. Hold on. He's calling me. Perfect. That works better. Thanks, Alphonse. You saved me on that one. I don't know what was going on, but Facebook wasn't connecting us at all.
Yeah, what's up, Joey? How are you, buddy?
I'm good. Now that I got you on the air.
Yeah, what's going on?
Nothing much, sir. Enjoying the nice little evening here back at home finally. How about you? Did you finally get in today, or are you still down there?
A lot of us flew out of Florida yesterday morning around 6 a.m. But let's just say that was a bad idea.
Why is that?
Oh, just killer. Partying all night and then waking up after an hour of sleep on a plane and then flying into 15-degree weather.
I was about to say, fun. I was watching your all's little live you all were doing from the party itself. It was like you were having a blast.
Yeah, man, that's what we do. We win together, we lose together, we party together. One big happy family.
And that's what you guys have been doing for the last couple of years. Tell me, Alphonse, for the audience who don't know, when did you first get in? How did you first get into second gen?
There's an indoor league, 6-man indoor league up here in Rockland, New York, where we're all from. You know, I played on a team called Express, and then Mike G had put a second gen team in just for the first time. We started playing against each other. kid by the name of Eddie Bertucci was short going into the Virginia Beach tournament and asked a couple of us, if we would help out and travel down. So it's something I always wanted to do, but just never got a chance to. So we went down to Virginia Beach. We did okay. We went 2-0 the first day, and then we took a bad beat against Rampage, and we were 1 and done. So obviously we're like, oh, we want to play. So we put together a team with Charm City Classic, and we wound up running the table and winning that.
And that was actually the first time I saw Second Gen. You guys actually played against the Affiliate Nation, a team that I was covering in that tournament at the time. And you guys put an absolute surprise beat down on them in that game. And
it was good. I mean, it was really the first tournament. There was a lot of new guys and a lot of mixture, and it was really, really surprising how we gelled and how we got a good rapport with everybody playing with each other.
Yeah, and it seems like that rapport has been growing ever since. We talked about last year when Second Gen won comp bracket. What was so different about this year compared to last year's championship run?
Believe it or not, last year's championship run was it was expected. We thought we would win. Last year's team was locked down probably 2 months before Nationals. Like literally right at Rhode Island, we had a solidified roster.
Mm.
But this year, up until about, I'd say, middle of December, towards the end, middle of December, we really weren't set on, if we're going to have a quarterback, who's playing quarterback, which guys are coming, which guys are not coming. It was basically we were up in flames. I got a phone call from Mike G saying that Matt Bailey was interested, so I reached out to Matt Bailey. Hold on, let me just open a way.
You're fine.
I got a phone call from Matt Bailey. We were talking. He's like, listen, me and a couple of guys want to play. We don't have a place to play. So we really didn't have a quarterback. Up until we found Bailey, it was going to be me probably. But, we took a shot on Matt Bailey, and boy, did it pay off.
Yeah, and in the biggest way it possibly could. And I'll tell you, I don't think anybody had Second Gen winning this. Second Gen, back-to-back years, comes out of the blue seemingly to some.
Mm-hmm.
And just...
Well, I'll tell you this about this year. A lot of people thought that we wouldn't even get to Sunday, actually,
Yeah.
Everyone was surprised that, let alone us having the first seed, but, even making it to Sunday, even guys that were supposed to play with us didn't believe in us, and they backed out. We had one back out a week before. We had one back out 2 weeks before. We had another guy back out 3 days before.
Mm.
And it was, one kid said, I don't want to, waste my money, go down there and be Friday, Saturday, and not play on Sunday. So he left. He wound up going to play for somebody else. And
wow.
Truth be told, those 3 guys, the joke's on them.
Yeah. Absolutely. They made the mistake. Oh, man. They got to be feeling bad. So they had to feel bad on Monday morning.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. I'd be kicking myself in the ass if I made the same mistake they did.
And it was an absolute big mistake at that, as Second Gen proved all the doubters, proved all the haters wrong. You guys went out there. You balled your asses off. Take me to the journey.
Well, I'll tell you one thing. There was like 16 of us all in the same flight, and we were flying down during the draft. And Matt Bailey was texting Mike G, and after the first one, we picked our slot, and then we saw the Texas boys, then we saw the Maryland Bullets, and we're like, holy shit, we might actually end up with a good draw for once, because every 8 tournament that we played, we either played the Punishers, who's a loaded team, or Main Event, or the Lions. We literally played the same 3 teams every tournament, and we were hoping that we would not just get an easier draw, just maybe get a couple of different teams to play, just to see where we're measured up at.
Yeah.
And then when we finally saw our bracket, we had the Texas boys, we had the Maryland Bullets, and we had the Blazers. We knew the Blazers, it's a team from here. I got love and respect for Robbie Lane. It's always a battle with those guys. We've played them multiple times. And then I didn't know anything about the Texas Hot Boys, and I didn't know anything about the Maryland Bullets. I just said to myself, all right, new meet, new teams, let's just take it one game at a time,
And you guys did it, winning one game at a time in such spectacular fashion that you finished with that number 1 overall seed by the end of Saturday night, which like I said, I don't think anybody thought that was going to be the case either. I remember going to bed thinking it had to be somebody like Main Event to be up there, or even say the Punishers.
We were about 8 yards away from losing out on the first seed. The Blazers were down, I'd probably say inside the 10, and it was 4th down. Luckily, we made a stop, and we won by the certain amount that we needed to win by, and we got the 1 seed. So,
Nice.
I guess it all worked out,
Yeah, no, and especially came Monday Day on Sunday. You guys, who was the first opponent? I didn't quite catch your first one. I know you had Punishers in the semis, but I wasn't around for the quarters.
Our first one was the Gladiators.
Okay, that's right. It was Gladiators in the quarters because it was okay. Now I remember. Thank you for the reminder.
Yeah, it was a very physical game, but you're always going to get a lot of shit talking from them. Very physical play. They got probably one of the best all-around flag players over there, Angel Estrada, and then you got C.J. Tarver, who is absolutely electric.
He is hard to catch. Yeah.
Yeah. Plus, he's very good. They had a very good defensive line. But luckily we pulled it out, and it was a close game. We beat them 19-13. I'm pretty sure.
19-13. Nice. And then the second game, you ended up facing off against the Punishers, who seemed like they were the favorite at that moment. That the way they had just destroyed Strong Island the game before, they had annihilated them 17-0. It wasn't even.
I wasn't surprised at that because the Punishers' defense is very, very good. They got a lot of great players over there. They got Jeff Norco, who's very good. He's probably the best flag puller I've seen in my 1.5 to 2 years playing on the circuit. Jared Force is probably, if not number 1, top 3 defensive lineman in the circuit. They got another guy who's up and coming, who's basically a killer, is T. Holmes, who's awesome. Plus, they got awesome vets like Thomas Newkirk, Anthony Pomo, who's awesome.
Yeah, Pomo stepped up big for them too, playing quarterback after Sizzle got injured on Saturday.
Yeah, which obviously it's football. People get hurt. Next man up. But
props to him though, stepping in the big stage.
To say I wasn't surprised that the Punishers would beat them is a true statement, because I knew that if they kept it close, they could pull it out because of their defense.
Mm-hmm. What was the difference in the game between you guys and the Punishers that what was the key to you?
I was a little upset that we couldn't get a shot at the Bulldogs. There was a little jabber when we first got into the A that we wanted to play them, so we figured that we could get a shot at them at nationals. It wouldn't really be a real national if we didn't get them, but obviously the cards fell another way, and we got the Punishers. So.
And after the Punishers, you guys defeated them in another close battle.
We like to keep it close. We like to keep everybody on the edge of their seats,
You guys were fun to watch this weekend, especially when we got to the championship game against the Lions. Can you say that may have been the greatest game you ever were a part of? Because I've called about close to 500, 600 games at this point, and I don't think I've called a game better than that one. That was an absolute thriller from start to finish.
That was probably the best flag football game I've ever been a part of in my life. Yeah, absolutely. Especially the magnitude of the game, with so many unbelievable ball players on both sides of the ball. It was absolutely fantastic. I thought it was unbelievable, but I thought the better team won.
I think so too. I think the Lions played their asses off. They played well enough, but they didn't make enough plays at the end of the day to win that game. Whereas second gen executed when they needed it the most.
I can agree with that. You know, sometimes when a team, the Lions, we kick the ball to the Lions, and in the third play of the game, Nuke takes the screen to the house. A lot of teams could fold right there. But
Yeah.
once again, Matt Bailey showing how big his balls are this weekend took us right down the field and tied it up. And that moment, a lot of guys looked around and said, "Listen, we're here. We're not going anywhere. Let's get to it."
He balled out, absolutely balled out. Another one, I don't know his name at all because he calls himself Sally Buns on your team, but
yeah, that's my man, Sally Barbetto.
Yeah.
We have like 3 sets of brothers on the team. We got me and my brother. We got the Barbetto brothers.
Oh, that's awesome.
Brother. So Sal's brother plays linebacker for us, and Sal plays slot. So I was telling Bailey, because Bailey obviously knew our 3 other wide receivers with Iron Mike and the kid Rabbit, but he's like, "Who's this kid Sal that's going to play in the slot?" I said, "Listen, for us to win the tournament, Sal's got to have a tremendous tournament. Everybody's going to know about Dom. Everyone's going to know about Iron Mike. Everyone's going to know about Rabbit. And I think Sal can put us over the top." And he made me look good because the kid caught everything he was thrown at. It was he was almost untouchable, grabbing his flag.
Yeah.
And I mean, what can you say about the overtime touchdown that he had? Nuke is world class, and to make him miss at that moment was unbelievable.
The move he put on him right by the end zone. It's a shame I didn't get a better angle of it. I was on the opposite side filming from the Lions sideline, but the move he put on him, damn.
If you go back to it and you look at all of us running, it's probably the fastest I've ran in like years. To try and catch him in the end zone, it was unbelievable. Unbelievable. It was, it was the perfect way to end the perfect weekend. How we played.
I agree. There was
one point in the game where at the end of the first half we're driving and Bailey is scrambling and he goes to pump fake and he throws it right into Elfrin's arms for a pick six right before the half.
I remember. Yeah, I remember that play. That play was crazy because the guy literally jumps up, catches it, and trucks him back to the house. I was stunned. Yeah. I thought that was a game momentum shifter right there.
I was on the opposite side of the field, and I was like, holy shit, what just happened? So, it was a good thing that we got the ball first and second half, and once again, Bailey drove us down the field to tie the game up, and we looked around. At that moment, I looked around, and we all said, listen, this game is ours, let's take it. We played good defense. We got to stop on Costa. And Bailey used a lot in the fourth quarter, and then we scored a touchdown to go up. And we thought, all we needed was a stop. But obviously, you can't count the Lions out because of the weapons they got over there.
They're resilient. They were absolutely resilient in that fourth quarter.
Drew Terry made an unbelievable catch in the end zone to tie the game. So, we looked at ourselves and said, all right, let's go overtime. Why not? Why not win it this way? But I personally thought once he missed the field goal in overtime, I said to him, this is our game. Let's go finish it, and we're going to win right now. So thank God that we did.
Yeah, and I'll tell you, I was happy to be part of that moment. That was just feeling the energy from you guys after that game and seeing the reaction coming from your sideline. That was a bittersweet moment, and I was glad to be a part of it, man. I really was.
Yeah, it was surreal. Hopefully we can build off this. Hopefully the team, stays together. And I will tell you this: I'm happy that I can look at a couple of people and say, you should have been with us. You should have stayed with us. You should have given us a chance because we used this one motto, man. We all we got. Because if you looked at both sidelines, our sideline was empty and everyone else was on Lions. It doesn't make a difference if they were rooting for the Lions. But, everyone was still, and we played it that way where, look, everyone wants us to lose. And, we're using that, we're going to win. just to piss everybody off. You know?
Yeah.
Because we knew we were going to hear it coming into Sunday. Oh, you guys got an easy bracket. You know, easy bracket. You guys will be all right. You guys will be one and done. We even heard that a team told another team that thanks for beating us. Now we're on the B-side bracket with second gen. You know, it's going to be easy to go through them. And, you know, we heard a lot of shit all weekend. But I'll tell you this, you can't take it away from us. We beat the Gladiators, then we beat Punishers, and then we beat the Lions. Those are 3 top teams in the nation.
Yeah, that is absolutely impressive of a weekend to have.
Yeah.
You guys definitely prove that you belong with the rest of them. You do belong up there with the likes of Gladiators, with the likes of Lions, Main Event, Strong Island. You guys need to be talked about, and Punishers as well. You guys need to be talked about in that same breath right now, because 14-0 in the last 2 worlds, plus winning both of them, that's a dynasty.
I wouldn't say dynasty just yet, you know. Hopefully, you know, everyone stays healthy. We can make a run. You know, in this year coming up the Nationals, we only won 2 games on the circuit, in the A circuit. You even had people that were hometown friends of ours saying, "Oh, we're gonna go 0-3 in barbecue. We're not gonna make it to Sunday. You know, we're not good enough." You know, it's just we listened to it all year long and we let it fester. But if you really look at our team, I think we have the best wide receiving core in the whole nation. The best. Like, I don't see a defense a secondary that can stop all 4 of our wide receivers. It's very tough. I'm not being cocky. That's my opinion. You know, our offensive line played lights out. Absolutely lights out. They only gave up 1 sack all tournament. 1 sack in 7 games.
That's absolutely impressive. Wow.
Yeah. You know, and once again, you know, it all comes back to Bailey. On the offense, Bailey was, you know, the fuel. He played awesome. He's a little bit of a lunatic. You have to calm him down. You know, in between every pass play and every good pass he throws, he's talking shit to the other sidelines. You got to go grab him. But I'll tell you one thing. I'll block for him. I'll play for him any day of the week, because he just, you know, he's arrogant. He's got balls. That's what a great quarterback needs.
Mm-hmm. And that is what it takes to have, and that's what it takes to be a leader of a team.
Yeah, I agree.
So after this, what's next for second gen?
We're gonna try and win AC and build on it. You got to build on it, because, you know, as much as everyone wants to say, "Oh yeah, you're the champs, you're the champs," that's in the past now. You got to move forward, and the slate's clean. Now we got AC. It's all about the next one. We're not going to look in the past. Yeah, we're gonna break balls. We're gonna have a good time. Yeah, we're the champs, but we're really not looking back at the weekend anymore. Now it's to AC. Now let's get ready for Atlantic City. You know.
Yeah, March 14th and 15th. We are about a little under 2 months away. Atlantic City.
Yeah.
It'll be here before it's gonna definitely be here fast. Yeah. That's actually the next time we'll be live. We'll be in AC in about 2 months. I'm really ecstatic. I want to give a quick shout out to the videography team you guys got, mostly Israel. He did an excellent job shooting games for you all this weekend.
Yeah, he's great. You know, he's another guy who just loves. Yeah, he'd actually rather videotape than watch the game. He loves doing it. You know, a couple of the guys on the team have a local basketball team they play, and he goes and videotapes them. So he loves just being around the guys. He's family to us. That's actually Deuce Dutch's brother.
Really? They're brothers?
Yes, it is.
I never thought about that, to be honest. Okay.
Yeah, he probably don't want a lot of people knowing that that's his brother, but, you know, yeah.
Okay, cool. That's awesome. Yeah. No, he absolutely does great work. I actually met Deuce for the first time this weekend, actually.
Oh man, he's a trip. He is a trip.
Quite a character.
Imagine having to deal with him in your hometown league every week.
I'm sending him the invite. If he ever wants to come down to Washington County and be part of our league, I would love to see it. I feel like he'd bring extra flair to our league. We need some excitement in this small town league.
Yeah, he'll bring lot of flair.
Well, anyways, Alphonse, any final words before we get off here tonight?
No, I just, shout out once again. Shout out to Jamie Wolf for doing an unbelievable tournament at Worlds. And it was probably the best in the last tournaments I've seen in the last 2 years. It was probably the best talent group I've seen. It's just the talent just keeps getting better and better. The teams just keep getting better and better. So I think the 9-man is on the rise, and it's great. 9-man.
I think so too. A 9-man is at its highest high, if you ask me.
Yeah.
I don't think there is any point in time in the history of this game where it's been any bigger than what it is. Like, especially when you get to the names who are starting to play on the circuit. I believe I was hearing Percy Harvin was out there this weekend.
Yeah, no, he wasn't. There was a different Percy.
Okay, that was a rumor I was hearing about, and I was like, really? I wouldn't know what he looks like, so he could have been there for all I know.
Hey, you got flags. Yeah, but now you got flag football. Guys that are out there. You got Alfieri, you got Corey Webb, Kendall Webb, Terrence Fox. I mean, all these guys are like flag football legends now. I mean, making Team USA, Palmo, and all these guys, which is unbelievable to watch all the guys that you play against on ESPN. It's great for the game, and I think it's great for guys. It gives guys hope. There's something further down the line for everybody,
And I keep hearing speculation in the future of flag football. I've heard the Olympics is tabling having flag as an official sport.
I think they should. I think they should
too. I watched the International Bowl last week. There were some pretty talented players, especially that Israel team had some good ballers on their team. They just didn't have enough to beat Team USA at the end of the day.
Not many guys, not many teams that you can get a group of guys can beat the team that they had. They were loaded. The team per se is loaded, but that's the way it should be. This is our sport. We should dominate every country.
Exactly. I 100% agree on that. And I'm just glad to see the game grow. I was happy to see teams come up from the Bahamas on a yearly basis and play in this tournament. I'm happy to hear that 9-man may be getting a tournament down there itself and in possibly Chicago. The circuit's
really, there's two places I would like to play. I would like to play in Texas, and I'd like to go to Cali to play. I think Vegas would be a bad move because I don't think guys would make the games. But Texas is one state I want to go play in, and Chicago, but not Chicago in the wintertime. It's got to be Chicago in the summertime.
Let's. I hate for a Chicago December tournament. I don't think that would work out very well for anybody.
Yeah. That's definitely not. Unless it's indoor, I'm not going there because the winter is different out there.
See, that'd be something. That's something I would like to see as something more often as an indoor flag football tournament. I feel like that would be intriguing.
Yeah, that would be really cool. We play a 6-man indoor league up here. It's awesome.
Okay, nice. We mostly have 9-man around here. That's what we have. Is our biggest game is 9-man.
Actually, up here, 6-man contact is really getting big.
6-man contact? Yeah.
6-man contact is pretty good up here. You got a lot of good teams. There's actually a tournament in February. The last weekend in February, we're doing a charity tournament up here, 6-man contact. All proceeds will go to St. Jude's. There's 15 teams. I'm putting my team in. The Strong Island Bulldogs are playing in. Robbie Lane and the Blazers are playing. The Mets putting a team in. It's actually going to be great competition, 6-man wise. I think even though it's a charity tournament, teams are going to play to win, but I still think a lot of great ball players will be there.
Yeah, and that's awesome to hear. They're all willing to make it come out and play. There is a lot of excellent flag football talent that is out there. And truthfully, it's a game that I feel like is still relatively untapped in parts of the United States. You don't really hear much not about flag in other parts of the country.
Yeah. It's a shame. It's a shame what happened over at Austin Tyndale. Hopefully the person that got hurt is okay. But
Oh
Um,
my God. That is,
yeah, you know,
I don't
but
like getting on
I think
soapboxes
I
on
saw a
anything,
couple
but
of things.
it,
I saw a couple of things on Nine Man Base today that maybe every year we should change sites. That's actually not a bad idea. One year Texas, another year Florida. Georgia. It'd be cool. I
I,
think personally.
I think it would be cool too to have different sites hosted because most of the tournaments we have are East Coast based. In fact, they're all within,
Yeah, it's all
um,
East Coast up and down 95.
yeah, because like I know Maryland, we have Ocean City, we have Owings Mills, we now have Capital Classic too. So we have three tournaments in Maryland alone every year.
Yeah.
Um, Atlantic City's in Jersey. I personally, I'd like to see a tournament in NYC at some point. I would love to see that.
Yeah, I would like to see that as well. New York maybe. I mean, I know there's one up in Albany, but it could be cool, like Long Island or something. That'd be nice. But I want to start. I don't have much time left in this flag game, so maybe start getting other states involved, and let's start traveling.
Yeah, man. Go. That's how I feel, man. I'm on a travel kick. This was actually my very first year out on the circuit. I hadn't gotten out there until about April of last year when I did Ocean City for the first time, which I covered. And I've
Yeah, man,
had
you do a great job. All of us might not say it, but we appreciate all the video coverage. That way, all us guys can maybe show our kids one day that we were athletes instead of, just all the lazy bums sitting on the couch after work.
and
So,
yeah, and that's like, and to me, I think that's what means the most is the memories of you make playing these games are going to be reserved forever. Because I'm going to back up all this stuff, man. I make sure to capture all the moments, the intense drama. I like to stay after the game whenever the teams are celebrating. I thought it was great to capture your all championship win and the post game afterwards. That's the stuff that you'll never forget. That's the stuff that you'll be showing your grandchildren when you're in your 70s and they're playing football.
hey, we got a saying over here in New York: you don't play for like the trophies, you play for the team picture after. And that means the most.
Yeah,
Getting the guys together. Especially with us, we're a very tight knit group. So that's basically it. The picture is the best part. You know.
yeah, because that's the end of the day. That's the team, and that's what matters the most.
Yes, it does.
Well, anyways, Alphonse, thank you for joining us this evening.
Oh man, no problem. Thank you for having me.
No problem, sir. I appreciate the work that you guys do on the field. You guys are the ones who really put it out there at the end of the day.
Nah, we'll be all right. We'll be all right. It's all right. Thanks, Joey, for having me, man.
No problem. Thanks for being on.
All right, bud.
All right. Alphonse Perrone joining us. Thank you, Alphonse. And thank you, Second Gen. You guys have had an excellent run. You guys had an excellent run in this tournament. One of the best, a great 2-year stretch for Second Gen. One that I don't think anybody ever can even match because they are the first of their kind. Nobody won B and A back-to-back years. Nobody prior to Second Gen. And they're undefeated doing it at the same time. They are the new kings of flag football for the time being. They may not have shown it throughout the circuit season, but when it mattered the most, they stepped up. They came, they saw, they won. As did the Scorpions, as both sides managed to pull out victories in their respective brackets and were crowned world champions. No other guests tonight, just me making one final note. As I mentioned, this was my first year on the circuit in terms of live streaming. I had covered a tournament once before that was way back, but that was also Hagerstown, which was only a 15-minute drive from my house. Traveling is something that's been hard for me until recent years, but I've actually grown to love it. The circuit is great. There is a lot of talent out there. There's a lot of ballers out there. The teams are just phenomenal, and every tournament is something different. I'm absolutely proud of this game and how far it's grown. I've been around flag football as far back as 1998, back when my dad was playing, when he had his own team. I remember way back in the day seeing him get hammered by a team called the Chiefs. I'm sure a lot of teams around the DMV know that squad. And then I came back to flag years later, had my own team. Started live streaming in 2017 for the Washington County Flag Football League. Still do that to this day. Big shout out to them for getting me started. A big shout out to everybody along the way who's really helped me out here on Blunt Talk. This show started out as just me and a friend of mine talking on camera about flag football, but in a really weird kind of way. It was basically a slam show. It would be a smack talk show about the teams and everything else that went down. It was a decent show back then, but we've grown tremendously these last few years, and it's a true honor to be able to interview the people that I talk to nowadays, because it shows just how far we have grown. And I look forward to continue to growing these next couple of years. I really love this game. Really love you guys. It means a lot to me to be a part of the flag football community. 9-man is great. It's the best I've ever been. This tournament was the best tournament I've been to in my life. I hope to do more in the next couple of years. I look forward to Atlantic City and look forward to seeing you all again. Before I sign off, I want to give one last special thanks to Ross and Catherine Collins for allowing me to host Blunt Talk at their house the previous 2 years. As you all know, Blunt Talk going forward will be no longer hosted from there. We'll be hosting it at different locations. I'm offering to put the show on the road. If anybody wants to host Blunt Talk at any point in time for a special event or episode, please let me know. I'll meet up with you. We'll do it. I want to also give a special shout out to everybody down in Davenport who was part of the tournament this weekend. This was a great time. Special shout out to the Sullivan family for allowing me to stay with them all weekend. That meant a lot to me. A special shout out to Jamie Wolf once again for putting together a great tournament. A special shout out as well to the referees who have to work these long days out there in the heat. A shout out to all the football players who go out there and travel and put their money up. You guys, a lot of you guys pay a lot of money to come down here to play. And that's hard. That's really, traveling is a difficult thing. You guys put it all on the line every single weekend. You guys play your asses off. You're talented. I respect the hell out of anybody on that field. 9-man's just growing, getting bigger, and I'm excited to see where it goes. So for tonight, for Greg Proctor and Alphonse Perrone, I'm Joey Blaze, signing off and saying have a wonderful night. Blunt Talk will return March 12th for Atlantic City. Till then, stay tuned for the videos. We're going to have a lot of content up these next couple of days. Enjoy and good night.